in honor of it being Labor Day weekend, so I'm filming this 2 September 2023, which is a Saturday. I've decided to do a spontaneous awards and honors video with something I wasn't going to include, or in my initial 6 to 7 more I was thinking of, which is then subsequently expanded with stuff. I'm going to do this one as like a trial run for potentially those, depending on if I find a prop or not. So this is one where I think the wording is a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to contributing to the Top High School Award 2008 History Day Competition, Washington State level. So this is kind of a spontaneous choice. This one is a different one to put a video out for. I wanted to highlight it because it was a school award, but to get the school award, like each school, high school, was evaluated on like the placings of or rankings or medals of the individuals in groups, that represented the school. So it's kind of like a sporting competition, only with, in this case, history. So yeah, and so it was part of, there's a National History Day competition, and so this was the 2008 National History Day competition, and so there's a national competition, and to get to the national competition, there's a state competition, and to get to the state competition, there's a regionals competition. So I completed at regionals. I placed high enough to continue on to state championships, where I placed 6th, but only the top 2, I think, advanced to nationals. So I did really good, and I earned points for my school and stuff like that. I was better than I ever did individually in sports in high school. And so this was for the 2008 year, and it was at the state level. So all high schools in Washington State that advanced to the state level of competition competed. And so this level of competition the competition was actually held in March, or March to May. So I think regionals might have been March and then state May. So it was like, and I technically placed at both. So I placed in both competitions. So it was like approximately, working on the video description as I'm talking through, approximately March to May 2008. I think it was March, because it was over pretty early, but I'm not certain about that. Because the History Day thing, it was like a full year. If we competed in these competitions, it was almost a full year project for like the academic year. It was like, like in, well, it was actually more of a time commitment, I guess, than a high school sport season, actually. So yeah, so my placing 6th, my category was in the individual exhibit category. The theme was conflict and compromise, and so my topic was the Palestinian-Israeli conflict in the Middle East. I had a thesis, and then my stance developed around that. I initially thought I was going to be kind of supporting Israel, but I ended up being really supportive of Palestine, which at the time of competition was like huge controversial stance to take. So that I even placed, right? They only placed to the top 6 at the state level. It was like kind of everybody was like, whoa, right? That's kind of a miracle. Most people chose like really non-controversial topics, or played the formula to get to nationals. So like in the individual, and so my placing of 6th in individual exhibit category contributed to Shorewood High School, my high school, City of Shoreline, Washington State, United States of America, winning the Top High School Award. So that was for everybody who competed in all categories. However, I did not advance to the national level of competition. I was in my 2nd year of high school at the time of competition. So it was my sophomore year, 2nd year, 2008. I was 15 years old. I was one of 3 people from my high school to actually place in the individual exhibit category. We did really well. The first place was Rachel Hainsley, who focused on the Great Northern Railway. 5th place was Dominica Moore, if I'm recalling correctly, and she did something in sports history. And then I was 6th place, and I did Palestinian-Israeli conflict. So it was like, old building of a railroad, non-controversial, very socially accepted. Same with the sporting one. And then I was like, poof, and then people were like, oh, how did she even get a placing? Kind of thing. So mine was like the most out there of ours, but I also was, of the three of us, the worst. Kind of thing. So our overall individual placings and team, there was like the team exhibit and team performance, so like people could do a skit or something. So our individual and team placings and overall school award were covered in an article published in local newspaper, the Everett Herald, in May 2008. So that's that way. Everett is Snohomish County that way, but it was covered that the school won, and I was like listed as a recipient. So what does that mean for this awards and honors playlist I'm working on my my YouTube channel? What does it mean? Well, I'll put it, so I won most of my awards in high school in sports. So I'll kind of contextualize by comparing like my highest level of performance in those sports. So up first was girls swim and dive. So I did that all 4 years. I won multiple awards. That includes like plaque awards, weekly awards, which would be like best swim or swim of the week or kudos, or, you know, stuff like that. I lettered all 4 years, you know, most inspirational, captain, coach's award, stuff like that. Okay. And I swam both varsity and junior varsity, I think all 4 years, but my freshman year, I only swam varsity a couple times, kind of thing. Versus like as I became a senior, I swam varsity more, but I swam both all 4 years. And I reached the district championships. So I was fast enough to qualify for like what in History Day would be like regional competitions. Okay. So that's a little bit of context for that. Sport, the next sport, girls track and field, middle distance running. I only participated my first year of high school. I won no awards. I was junior varsity and I was not fast enough to advance to districts. So I was pretty slow. Most of those girls on that team had been, you know, they either, you know, it's like either somebody's a runner or they do year-round swimming, and that year-round swimming multiple hours a day, 6 days a week, translates to other sports. So it's easy compared to I didn't do the year-round stuff, and I started running. So the track season I competed in was in 2007, spring 2007, and I started running in the winter of 2006. So like January 2006. So, you know, and people out there had years of competitions experience, be it just middle school. You know, so I was like really far behind. I was the second slowest female in the middle distance running group. The slowest was Asian. I was Norwegian. Neither race plus ethnicity was known as being good at middle distance running at this time. So like watching in 2020, when watching the 2020 Olympic Games, seeing Jakob Ingebrigtsen win the gold medal in the 1500 meters was like Allah Almighty, Allah himself, the God of Islam, coming down to earth in Jakob Ingebrigtsen form, Norway, being like, look, at least one Norwegian can run the middle distance. I was like, hallelujah for Islam. Okay, kind of thing. And it wasn't even a race. I went down to the kitchen because I was hungry, and I was like, I'm not gonna watch the Olympic Games. And you know, my dad turned the channel, and it was like, fine, I'll watch this. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna watch this. It's all gonna be African, so it has no relevance to me anyway. And then there was like a Norwegian, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm Norwegian. Maybe this guy's gonna be okay. And he's like, he was very, so he's fast. He set a new Olympic record, yada yada yada. But he was very smart in how he ran the race, and it was like, that's the first man I have seen at the Olympic Games to actually like intellectually execute a race how it should be executed. Yeah. So anyway, moving on. Girls water polo. So it's the third sport I did in high school, like scholastic sport. Right? I did that my last 2 years of high school. I won multiple awards. Though I don't think we had like play of the week or anything like that. It was like I won a most inspirational 1 year and what biggest goofball and most dedicated, like stuff like that. We had fun awards there too. And I did varsity and junior varsity for that. And then the highest level performance there was second place at state championships in my senior year. It's that one's a little bit better for comparison or contextualization with this History Day placing and award. So the overall, I guess technically, the high school did better at History Day than our team did in water polo right? So like the top high school award is a team award, like everybody's evaluated kind of thing. Kind of like in water polo, state championships or a school championships, be it water polo or track and field or swimming or whatever, is the whole team. So in that sense, first top high school award trumps second place in water polo, right? No matter my individual contribution. And I did much better on my individual contribution. I placed 6th, so I got an individual recognition, which was rather cool. And it got published in the newspaper, which actually, this was the first time I appeared in the newspaper. I think for an award. Period? No, it would be for an award, because I've been in the newspaper for like an obituary, or before this, in like newsletters and stuff, I think. Or that was a newspaper. So first time in the newspaper for an award or like performance, be it sports or academics kind of thing. I think that, or yeah, I found tentatively, I think that's correct. That I saw at the time or something. I was later in 2010, I was in the Seattle Times when I won the 100-yard breaststroke at a swim meet. But that was over 2 years later. No, actually that was 2009. It was the 2009 to 2010 season, which is competition in 2009. So over a year after this. And it wasn't my full name. This printed my Tanis Leonhardi name, versus in the Seattle Times it was just T. Leonhardi, so it wasn't actually my name, Tanis Leonhardi, or Tanis Corley Leonhardi. So the Everett Herald got it right. Yeah, but here, that's a spontaneous award for my school, and I guess placing then would be like an honor. And it was better than any of my sporting performances. And I started running with myself as coach in January 2006, and to date, over 17 years later, I have not won a single award in running. Happy Saturday.